welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Batman.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with E3 2017? It's like E3 2016 with the ground. I mean, I'm not going to talk about tons of stuff here because I don't want this video to be long as shit. But I'll probably do a little bit longer one talking about some more thoughts in an ASMR format. Probably mostly about Nintendo stuff since, I mean, come on, man. And that'll be linked in the description. But I just want to talk about the few highlights that I thought were things that stood out to me that I thought were at least even worth talking about for someone such as myself. So, when I started, I guess the main thing that I heard about right away through like recaps and other things, and I saw some videos directly from there, and I didn't sit through all the big fucking presentations because it would have been really long and boring. I didn't care enough to sit through all that, but I sat through some things and then some videos and whatever of other people recapping some stuff. I just kind of jumped in on things that I thought sounded interesting. And basically, I guess, I don't know, like, the first one that really caught my eye was the idea that, like, Xbox, like, or, like, not Xbox, Microsoft, they're putting out a new system. And I was like, cool, like, I want to hear about that. That actually sounds really interesting, even though I probably wouldn't get it anyways. I'm still, like, super interested whenever, like, a new system comes out. And I went to look about it, because I heard, to look at it and see what it was about, and they said, like, oh, it's the Xbox One X. I was like, what the fuck is it? And I saw the world premiere trailer, which was a bunch of fucking, like, CG bullshit, the artsy-fartsy, like, here's all these graphics and visuals that don't mean anything. They're just to look cool. A few glimpses of the system. They showed, like, the controller. They had the slogan, it's like, field power or some shit like that. And then it ended. What? Tell me anything about it that would be interesting. I don't care about your dumbass slogan. I don't care about, like, the title. I guess I'd want to know, but, like, yeah, the other thing, I guess they showed a few characters that were from, like, there was, like, Master Chief, and there's, like, a thing of, like, somebody from the new Gears of War, I think, whatever the new one of that is, and someone else I didn't recognize. I don't follow a whole lot of Microsoft stuff, I guess, and but it wasn't, like, in-game stuff. They didn't show any gameplay. They barely showed the system, even. They didn't tell us anything about the specs. They didn't tell us any of the features, what it does. They just said the name, the slogan, and a few glimpses here and there, and then it's like, go to the site, find out more. What an amazing premiere. You have a thing that has a name. Wow. Anyways, so that really pissed me off. I was like, it really told me a lot with that one. I went to the site, and I want to give them a little credit on what it is, though, because, I found out that it is basically an upgraded Xbox One. Like the name might lead you to believe, but it didn't necessarily need to be that. You wouldn't even really know if you just saw that little world premiere. Then it's like, so I read the stuff on that site, and I want to give them some credit for it, because it sounded somewhat interesting. I mean, things that were okay about it was like, okay, well, it's more powerful, so your games are going to look a little bit better, I guess. They're going to load faster, which is nice. Some Xbox One games are going to be compatible, up enhanced, I guess is what they said. They're going to be enhanced. They said all the Xbox One games and accessories are it will work with this. But there are going to be some exclusive games to it to take advantage of that new power. As well as 300 select Xbox 360 games. I don't know if that's also as a service that's extended to the original Xbox One, if that got put into place. I never really looked into that, because they said they were going to do something with that, and I don't know if they did, or if it's already a thing with the other Xbox One, and, like, whatever. But if it's not, and they just started doing it for this, that'd be a pretty big selling point, so I don't know. Xbox owners would have to know more about that. I didn't look into that, and they didn't say that on the page or whatever, and it doesn't matter, I guess, to me that much, so whatever. But that could be neat, potentially. And I mean, it's like only 300, I guess, which it's not like it's necessarily a small number, really, but like they say 300, and it's like, so it means it's not all of them, but it's most likely the ones you're gonna want to play most are probably going to be compatible with it. So, then they, I guess, I also want to give them a little bit of props on like it's exclusive, you know, like because they're doing those exclusives or whatever. They have things that would be probably too beefy for the normal Xbox One, so you can get it there, but you can also get it on Windows 10. So, like, if you already have the PC and Windows 10 to play it, it's, you know, you don't have to get the Xbox One. You can just get it on there when it comes out. And I say this because they could have easily just been like, okay, well, we'll have it come out exclusively on the Xbox One X for some number of months and then go to Windows 10 and whatever. But they didn't do that, so, like, it's nice to see them do something that's good for, you know, consumers who want to get the games rather than something that's going to necessarily make their product more appealing so more people will want to buy it. It's surprising that they would do that, but also it's you know, it's nice. It's a good thing. But of course, then there's the whole thing of like, well, the downsides. Like, doing that means you really don't need to get an Xbox One X if you already, you know, have Windows 10 on a decent PC. It costs $500. You could use that to just get a better PC, probably. If you already had an Xbox One or an Xbox One S, do you really need to get another version of the Xbox One? Some people maybe even upgraded from the Xbox One to the Xbox One S and now the Xbox One X. It's like, do you do it again? It seems like it's really just appealing to a really elitist group of people who are like, I really fucking love Microsoft and their consoles because they had the best consoles, you know, with all these great graphics and, you know, the awesome specs and all that shit. And they're elitist in the fact that, like, they'll push that so hard over other consoles, yet they won't just get the exact same games that are already on, like, literally the exact same games that are on Windows 10 on a PC, which can probably outdo all those aspects anyways. I don't know. It's a weird niche. It's a bad price point for what it is also, so maybe they're not going to mass produce it. They're only produce so many, and as demand comes, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And it also depends on how well they support it. It could be kind of like a new system. If they put out a lot of games that were only on that exclusively, you know, on there that couldn't run, then if there's enough of them, I guess it would be its own system, but that's yet to be known. Yeah, I don't know, the name is silly, Xbox One X, because Xbox One was already a stupid name, and it's just adding X to it, which is like, you'd think that, like, well, they put a word there like elite or pro or something that means something. X doesn't feel like it means anything. You know, and now the name is like Xbox One X. I don't know what that's supposed to indicate. There's also there's 3 X's in it, you know, the Xbox. It's the triple X box. So, they wanted 3 X's in there, I guess, because that's sexy. And it's Xy is sexy. And then, like, there's the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. So that's gonna be great for parents who want to get the right system for their kid and fuck it up because the names are so similar. That's gonna be a great time. But at least it tells you that it is still an Xbox One and that it's just a different version of the Xbox One. I'll give it at least that much credit in the name. Also, I heard a rumor. Someone said something about, like, it could play Xbox games, like original Xbox games. I don't know how many they'd put on there as the select ones you could get. I don't know if it'd be actual, like, physical games would work on there, or do you have to just repurchase them? I don't know. It wasn't on the site. It would be a cool thing if it happened, and I don't know if they announced, like, we could do that, but it's not set in stone or something. I don't know. So I wouldn't say that's a selling point for it. But if it did become a thing, that kind of would be a bit of one. I think that would be cool. But it was on the site, so yeah, I'm not going to treat that like it is the whole thing. Alright, well, I ramble on about that shit enough, but I guess there was one more thing that Microsoft talked about that really was probably the most aggravating thing that I had to put up with for this the thing that pissed me off the most out of all the E3 stuff I saw, since most of it was like, I don't care, or it was just like, yeah, it's neat. The thing that rubbed me the wrong way was Super Lucky's Tale. Which saw that, and it's basically a 3D platformer collectathon. run around as this like fox, and you're cutting coins and doing platforming as 3D and cartoony, and you know the drill, you know the genre, and the genre kind of has been coming back. There's the whole ukulele thing. It got a lot of people interested, a lot of people excited, and you got the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, like the remaster of those first three. That's coming soon, and Super Mario Odyssey is right around the corner, so that's kind of hot right now. Looking at this game, it looks kind of a lot like ukulele visually, just a little more bland, and it's not like that character, like that fox could have been easily remodeled to be like a squirrel of some sort, or that, it's a shame that really that Microsoft doesn't have, any big IPs, in that for that genre under their belt they could have used. And it's sad because this is just exactly like the same kind of shit of the right idea at the wrong time. Really, is that remember when Nuts and Bolts came out, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and it was like all people wanted was another Banjo-Kazooie. They wanted Banjo 3. They wanted it on the next gen graphics and stuff. It had been a while. The company had switched hands. They wanted to have their faith renewed, and they wanted to see something that would blow their minds. And instead, they got Nuts and Bolts that was not a spin-off and probably shouldn't have even been a Banjo-Kazooie game in the first place. But it's fine to do new things. It's like, hey, this IP is not just stuck to being just a platformer. That's great. That's a fine idea. But it was absolutely the wrong time to do that. And now what we have here is, we've got another golden opportunity for Banjo 3 to exist. And instead they throw in this Super Lucky's Tale, which, of course, the character could have been replaced by Conker, even just to throw him a fucking bone. But these two IPs are totally ignored, and like Banjo 3 would have been perfect, especially since Ukulele got all the people really excited about Banjo-Kazooie in general. It was a spiritual successor. Make the actual successor and just be like, Banjo 3 is perfect. You already had your advertising done because of fucking Ukulele. And you have the Rareware logo to throw, or Rareware. You have the Rare logo to throw on there. It doesn't even have to necessarily be Rare that like does it. They can be working on other shit. I know they got the Sea of Thieves thing. I believe that's theirs. There were like two pirate ones. I believe that was theirs. But like, you could have someone else do it and have them like oversee it, so their logo would still be on it. I know like Double Helix, I believe, is the studio that does the Killer Instinct stuff, so it doesn't have to necessarily be Rare that does it specifically. You have someone else that can do it, and I don't think it would be that hard to either do Banjo 3 or at least just do like a modern remaster of Banjo-Kazooie, possibly also Banjo-Tooie, something. With that, because you have that IP, that is still a strong IP, and Ukulele showed that that's still what people still want that, and that would have made some more waves, and instead there's this new IP. Good on them for making a new IP, putting it out there. Absolutely the wrong time for that in this instance, but all that being said, even though it just looks sort of bland and whatever, I do love the genre. If I had a means to play the game, I probably would, and I'd probably kind of enjoy it. So there's at least that. And then there is the thing I saw where there was the Devolver Digital, basically weird skit thing making fun of the conferences and whatever, and with their joke presentation thing, they announced Serious Sam's Bogus Detour, which is like a retro twin stick kind of version of like a Serious Sam game or whatever. It's like pixel graphic-y things. I don't know. I like Serious Sam. That could be fun. I played the other game that those developers made of that. Like that doesn't look particularly great, but it was the whole presentation thing was a little weird. It was funny in parts. It stood out anyways. And then there was like the Nintendo stuff is basically the next thing that got my attention. Of course, I'm a big Nintendo guy. And this basically was, I'm surprised that, I'm sorry I'm rambling on so long, I'm talking way more than I thought I was going to, but the Nintendo one was more, like, I don't know, basically, okay, so Metroid was annoying. They announced Metroid Prime 4, and by announced it, I mean they said the name of, they showed the title screen and said we're working on it. Meanwhile, they have Metroid, the Metroid 2 remake, Samus Returns, coming for 3DS, and instead of showing that, where they had gameplay and footage and a trailer to show, they decided to just show a title screen for this game that they're working on that will come out at some point. At some time, because they wanted it to just be focused all on Switch stuff. So I didn't hear about that until a little bit later, because they did a little bit of stuff afterwards with their weird treehouse thing. That's why I had to wait to see what else they would talk about there. So I don't know, like, I probably will get that Metroid 2 remake. I do like Metroid a lot. I'd probably get Metroid Prime 4, but, you know, I would have liked to have seen something, or, you know, they could have just, you know, said that they were going to do that somewhere else, or like, here's a list of other games you can see in the future, and just listed those off, instead of being like, here's someone here to tell you that we're going to put out a new core Pokemon game at some point on the Switch. Hey, Pokemon, or Pokken Tournament Deluxe is coming out, but you already know about that. You know, like, shit like that, or other things that they had that you knew were coming out that they didn't talk about at all, even though they were also on the Switch, like ARMS. They didn't talk about ARMS, they didn't talk about Splatoon 2 in that whole thing, I don't think. Maybe they did mention Splatoon 2, that might have been in there. I don't know if they mentioned ARMS, though. I didn't really say much about a lot of these things, because there was the Nintendo Directs, you've already been hearing about this shit, and, like, all that, so there was, like, whatever. The only things that really, was, like, the Metroid Prime 4 thing just really pissed me off, because, like, fuck you with that, just fuck 40 seconds of just a goddamn title screen. Fuck off. And then there was, and the general tone of the whole thing with their stuff, yeah, it was like, hey, you already know the stuff's coming out, so we're just going to mention it and not go into any more details. Or the stuff's coming out so far in the future, we don't have anything else to really tell you or show you at this point. So you've either already heard about it, or you're going to hear more about it later. No reason to really be here right now, I guess. Apparently. Whatever. And then, even though they had more stuff to show on 3DS, and they didn't even show any of that in there because they wanted to be focused on the Switch. That's frustrating. But the good thing, I thought, I mean, unless I'm missing something else that was bad, I wrote some stuff down, I think it's fine. Oh, another neat thing, I guess, that was on it too, I almost forgot, was, they've got Rocket League, which looks like a neat game, that looks fun. It's coming to the Switch. I was surprised, I didn't know that was going to be there, so that was at least kind of fun news. You're like, oh, I didn't already know this was going to be a thing. But then, yeah, the only things I thought really great were like the Breath of the Wild stuff, which I'm not huge on DLC anyways, but it's not really fair for me to be like, oh, it was stupid because I don't like DLC, so the DLC thing was dumb. I saw a little video on some of the gameplay stuff for what the DLC is, showing off like the master trial thing. Looks kind of cool or whatever. Like, you have to go through these different rooms, and like you start with nothing and keep getting stuff as you go along, and it's almost a roguelike type of thing in a way, similar to the Cave of Ordeals kind of stuff. You know, it's the Trial of the Sword, and you just go through rooms and do stuff and scavenge. And it's also kind of similar to Eventide, if you've been to that island, where they strip all your shit and you got to just deal with it from there. Cool idea. I think that would be fun. They also have hard mode on there, where a lot of enemies are much more difficult. There are different kinds of enemies. They're doing some different stuff. There's even an entirely new tier of toughest enemies, which is interesting, because then, like, yeah, the difficulty will be even harder. They'll be harder anyway, I think, and then they'll be, like, tough enemies. I think they'll still be pretty easy to handle those once you get to them, though, just like before, because you'll understand of how this stuff kind of works by then, but it looks fun. I don't know if it'd be necessarily worth, however, I don't know if it's $20 for just that or for both packs, I'm not sure. But, I don't know if it necessarily is going to be worth the price. I might wait and see what people say. It looks interesting, I might get it. It looked better the more I saw of it rather than just hearing about it. But again, it's hard to justify because it is DLC. And it's like, I feel like it should have just been part of the game. It's fucking Zelda. Don't bog down my Zelda games with DLC. I'm still a little about that. Though on the bright side, not only is there a cool Peach in a wedding dress amiibo, hey, but they have the champion amiibos from Breath of the Wild, and one of them is Mipha, or Mifa, or I always said Mipha. Maybe I just didn't hear it when I was playing, or if they didn't say it when they were playing, or it's whatever. Tomato, Mario, whichever. Wario. Nobody says Wario. Then there's like, I just like, because of the connection I had with her and like some of the story stuff between those two, and like the way it kind of hit home for me, it would mean a lot to me because I already feel like pretty connected to that character. That it would, even if I never used it in the game, I still think just having that amiibo would actually mean a lot to me personally. So I am really happy that he actually made an amiibo of that, and now I just gotta wait for a Paya amiibo, and hopefully someday they'll just make a standalone Imp Midna amiibo, and I'll be pretty set by that point. I'll be pretty set. I could put up a lot of ladies that should be in amiibo form, but I'm not gonna. That's not a list I want to do right now. That's for a different day. If you'd like to see that, tell me in the comments. So that's basically, I think, it. I'm sorry I rambled way longer than I thought I would here, and I will probably say a lot more in the ASMR video that is linked in the description if you want to hear more. Yeah. I don't know. What did you guys think, I guess? What are things that you thought were the most interesting, good or bad? What stuff surprised you? And, like, what stuff, I don't know, like, whatever you want to talk about for E3 stuff, leave that in the comments. If you're still on that hype train, I'd like to talk about it. Obviously, I only know so much, and I'm probably going to be a big cynical asshole. And this is the least excited I've been for any fucking E3 since I know what it was and that it existed. Partly because I don't have, the newest system I have is the 3DS. The Wii U is newer, but, the only thing that's coming to that is that DLC because it's obligatory. Nintendo is very much okay with the Wii U being dead and pretending like it never was really there. Even beyond that, I've still been excited about stuff. Like, I was excited about Wii U stuff before I even thought I'd ever get one. And, like, I don't know, it could be something to do with that. Maybe I just don't feel like it's necessarily that. Could be that I'm just a jaded, cynical old man. And I don't know. It could be that it actually just was not that exciting because we'd heard about all the stuff already for most of this before, and a lot of things I just happened to be talking about I just didn't really care about. I don't know. A mixture of things, I'm sure, but maybe if you guys were excited and whatever, like, prove me wrong that if you thought it was more exciting than some other E3s and whatever, like, that's cool. Let me know why. That'll be fun to discuss also, I think. And sorry if I seem like a fucking shitty asshole who seems like a downer on everything. That's just my nature. So I have to complain about things. That's if I don't, I'm not, who am I? Who am I really? No one. I'm nothing. I would not exist. So yeah, that's it. More thoughts on that and like surprising stuff. Just a quick mention for that, I guess. They didn't talk about Smash. Why didn't that get announced? That's kind of surprising that we didn't hear about Smash. Yeah, so leave the shit in the comments, look at the link in the description, put the likes, dislikes, subscribes or unsubscribes, the YouTube things you're supposed to do, share with your friends, or send the link to your friends specifically so they don't accidentally go to this video, so they know not to watch it, and, I don't know, put it on a Reddit post with the title, hey, this guy's a fat idiot fuck. So what's the deal with E3 2017? It's like E3 2018 with the ground. And I mean the setup, I hope that audio sounds okay, otherwise this is going to be real embarrassing. What's the deal with Sam? What's the deal with Sam? What's the deal with Sam? What's the deal